itself is a reality. That's a real reality. But cinema is an unreal reality. Because everything that happens in the cinema is of a different rhythm, different pace, and various cultural manifestations. But in real life, it is very different. The pace is different, the rhythm is different, the people are different, the languages are different. There's so many aspects which somehow cinema tries to capture a kind of a inspired version of life, not real life. So this is my assessment. But cinema is a kind of art, which is an art created by many people from many different professions, and nobody can claim or put a signature like a painter does on his painting. In cinema you hardly can do that, because the contributions come from so many corners. And cinema is another interesting aspect of cinema is whatever advancement that is taking place in the world technologically, it absorbs it. And that's how everything keeps changing. It's never stuck, It is always improvising, adopting new technologies, and making different kind of images, different kind of sounds, different kind of impact. So that is really a very interesting aspect. And the professionals that go into the cinema are so varied. They are varied like, it's not just a carpenter or a painter or a set designer or a costume maker or a tailor there are chemists who work in the laboratories, there are cameramen who do lighting and create the correct kind of ambience, and there are sound recorders who record the sound and give it a totally different dimension. So it absorbs every kind of profession in cinema. That is the beauty about this art. And this is developed into art because there is a certain kind of seriousness of the audience also. The audience goes to a cinema, buys a ticket, and sits, concentrates for about 2 hours. But this happened in the theater before, and other music concerts and dance presentations. But somehow, one advancement which has taken place, that is television. That television somehow cannot become a part of the art, because there is no seriousness of any kind from the audience or even the people who make television programs. It has an instant reality because it can bring very good news instantaneously. And that is the only advantage that television has. Otherwise, the kind of programs that are going on the television, they are so bad. It's embarrassing to watch, especially these reality shows. And I don't know how day in and day out they are doing the same kind of thing. What happened in somewhere in some other country, they try to put it into our country. So it has no cultural reality at all. It is all imported, and badly imported, and a bad taste is brought into the country in a way. So, but it's the cheapest way for anybody to sit at home and watch the program, and some amount of entertainment perhaps they get. But when we say, is cinema only there as entertainment, or is there something beyond entertainment? So when you say entertainment, the word entertainment itself doesn't qualify cinema, because it's too limited. In English, the word is too limited. But if you take an Indian word for the same, like manoranjan, so it gives you a bigger dimension. Cinema is manoranjan. It should elevate the minds of the people, the viewer. It has a definite social and political impact. And that is what is all about cinema. So we have this filmmaker and the whole lot of people who are working in the cinema industry. They have a social responsibility towards the nation, towards our society. And that is a very important aspect. And that's why we just can't say cinema is just entertainment. It is not. It's beyond that. So that's how cinema has lived, cinema has prospered, and cinema has become an important art by itself. So, true, there were times when cinema was used in a very nationalistic way, when the imperialists were ruling India, and there are a lot of filmmakers who were conscious of that, and they made films against imperialism, against the British, and they inspired people towards patriotism. And that happened in the early days before independence. And after that, there were many other films which took up social issues, issues of women, issues of children, issues of many other aspects of society. Because that's a second kind of cinema which... what I'm trying to say is, this is the kind of social responsibility that many people, whether it is in the mainstream cinema or in the parallel cinema, have had this kind of urge and a passion to use cinema for a better life, better future. And that is why cinema is so important, in spite of all the competition and the difficulties the cinema is facing, the piracy, and so many things are happening today. But that is part of life, and with that, the cinema will also grow. They will know how to fight these odds and see that cinema lives forever. It's 100 years since cinema came to India, and it has become a very popular medium. But I don't think normally people say cinema is bigger than life. No, it is not bigger than life. You see only a big image because you are sitting in an auditorium. It's not bigger than life. Life is bigger than everything else. Anyway, thank you very much for having invited me to the inauguration. And I hope a lot of people will come and see the exhibition, learn a lot of things about cinema. Although I personally felt there were some missing points um, about technology in the galleries which I visited. What kind of equipment people used, how they made films with such minimum and crude equipment, and yet they created a great piece of art. And that part has not come through in this exhibition, I feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Could I please ask the audience to turn your mobiles on silent mode? This mammoth exhibition was showcased at NGMA Mumbai and Delhi before being on display in Bangalore from 4th November to 2nd December. To mount an exhibition of this scale at different venues would not have been possible without the cooperation and efforts of all the people involved. I now request Ms. Archana Hande, co-curator of Project Cinema City, to propose the vote of thanks.
Hello, everybody. Standing here for the first time, I don't feel blank. So that's a good sign, because always I come last to read this paper and I don't know where to start. But today I'm really feel good, and in a way I just feel, I believe that we did it. Because till yesterday I was like, did we really did this show? It was something like behind our, it was always behind my, like our visions that, oh, we're going from one city to another city to another city, and I come back, I come to Bangalore where my parents are there, and I feel, okay, fine, now at last I'm here. And I think, I believe I'm here and this show has started, and now it's the beginning. I always take this note and see how many people's name I have to read. People who are involved, more than 100 people. We worked more than 4 years and 5 venues. And our hunger actually doesn't stop. Today we were thinking of another installation. So it really goes on in that way. So I would like to start thanking on the top the youngsters who were always from the day one. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. The students of KRVI, because we always miss the A. The premier architect college in Bombay, who basically gave us all kinds of resource, like library, workshop, equipments, expertise, personal and goodwill. A very special thanks to the director, Anirudh Paul, our colleagues, Rohan, Kaushik, and Apurva, and other faculty members and the members of the design cell. Today we really miss Rohan and Kaushik, who are really part of this. We always have this now habit of saying we have stopped saying I. Madhu and me have been really saying curator and co-curator, but there are many curators and co-curators in this project, and Rohan and Kaushik are one of them. Majlis, of course, is well known and much respected for its innovative projects of cultural collaboration, but Project Cinema City has surpassed all its past record. Each person in Majlis Cultural Center has that special quality of mixing hardcore production work with joy of creativity and improvisation. Thank you, Shikha, Paruma, Narayan, Sunil, for being there at all times for each of one of us. Many thanks to Flavia, founder of Majlis, for always being so tolerant and encouraging to the chaos and hyper activities of art making. In here, I also want to especially thank Ajay, who always has been with us, coming up to all our shows and putting up the installation and helping us around. The artists and the filmmakers, and eminent, distinguished in their own fields, designers, it's multidisciplinary. It's very difficult to thank them at this point because they've been, it's been like they thanking us and I thanking them. It's like a project in its own way. But the kind of experience we gained by chatting with each and everybody with a cup of coffee was much enriching, and I don't know how to put it across to you or across in a book or in the show also. It's quite a, and the kind of freedom they gave us, the kind of the people giving us the images to the question of copyright or question of photography, all those things actually broke here because the kind of freedom they gave us to work with their images. There are external agencies, organizations who have played crucial roles in developing this project. Generous help has come from Ford Foundation, and HIVOS is a Bangalore-based funding agency and has helped substantially in shaping Majlis and projects in my city to what it is today. Additional support has come from Ministry of Culture, Doordarshan, PSBT, who has produced the short films Max Miller Bhavan, Goethe Institute, and Global Fund for Women. Our friends in galleries, Kemold Project 88, normally when the project name comes, I always continue saying Project Cinema City. So Project 88, Vadera Art Gallery, Nature Moat, and the art organization Coach, Film and Media, institutions such as Magic Lantern Foundation, has helped in coping with various logistic issues. But the most important local collaboration has come from the artist community and art organization in Bangalore to set up the Bangalore show.
Can somebody help her in switching off her phone? I think she doesn't know how to switch off her.
Yeah. Oh, where I am. Art organization of Bangalore, One Shanti Road, Barwan, and Jaga, they have adopted projects in my city as their own and have plans to host many events around this whole month, which is quite touching for me. In all the cities, there's so many visual artists, friends, and filmmakers, and they come across to help and have a dialogue with this project, which really enriches and increases the strength of the project. Shrishti School of Design has launched a new research project for their students as a dialogue with projects in my city. We are really actually, among this whole month, I don't know how many students and how many colleges, even Chitrikala and other colleges have been interested to collaborate, to do workshops here. So I would like to thank them for their generous interest in the project. The direct outcome of this collaboration with the local community is the wonderful team of Bhartesh, Chetan, Vinish, Manju, and Varsha. Without them, thank you so much. Without them, this whole show, I really want everybody to clap because it's really hard work, and day and night they were with us, knowing and understanding what we needed and what was required. Last but definitely not least is Ministry of Culture, National Gallery of Modern Art. We have come a long way together from the time we approached Professor Rajiv Lochan, exactly 2 years. Unfortunately, today he is not with us here, he's in Delhi. But he has been really pushing us and made sure, been with us for this show from the day one. Since then, we have evolved the project together and mounted the show bit by bit. We are also very excited that our first show at Bangalore is also the first show for the new director, Mr. Shiv Prasad Kene. His enthusiasm only encouraging us more during the mounting of the show. We hope that more exciting times are to follow. And as he's a science person and we are artists, and I'm sure we will have a lot of collaboration, and I'm more excited in Bangalore. And we welcome you and hope to have more shows with you. And I'm actually very excited at this kind of show. We came, and I was very tensed when I came to know that Vishweshwaraya Museum Director would be the additional, and then and enthusiasm of our young team of volunteers. Though these days, the days and the nights in the last 1 week, needless to say, the show belongs to all these people.